Hey guys, this is Eric the Unit Norris from SLC Punkcast here for another episode of Live and Wired. And yeah, if you don't know, this is the part of the show where we talk about shows that are happening in and around our area or your area. I talk about the shows that are coming in that will be happening in and around my neck of the woods, the Salt Lake area, the greater Salt Lake. And Dustin handles the ones that are more international. All the shows and tours for bands that are going on nationwide tours or going on tour everywhere else. so yeah, that's it's been a few episodes since I detailed the point of this little offshoot of SLC Punkcast. So I guess this is a nice little refresher, and also trying to gear you up for this week's episode of Tales from the Pit. And it was a show that I was performing. It wasn't just a concert, it was a wrestling show. It was a whole, courtesy of the Lucha Project, the Underground Wrestling Coalition. They are fucking hilarious. They are a lot of fun. And I've seen them multiple times, but this is the first time that one of my bands got to be on one of their programs. So I was pretty stoked on that, but yeah, that's this week's episode of Tales from the Pit. Throwing down in the ring. Yeah, that's a good one. So anyway, like I said, the Luchador Project is an underground amateur wrestling coalition that obviously functions out of Salt Lake. They've been doing it for a long time. I don't know how many years they've been doing it. I mean, maybe 10 years, something like that. But they've been picking up a lot in the last couple of years. And this last weekend, they were doing a death of SLUT, death of slut. They had one show where they did on the Pearl on Main in South Jordan, or not South Jordan, West Jordan, in West Jordan on Friday, with a few other acts, with a few other bands, obviously, and that was sort of gearing up. They were doing like a whole, what do you call it? They were making a whole weekend out of it. It was just a series of events. They did it with, Zombie Cock, that's who they did it with, and Pirates of the Promised Land, and P.S. Destroy This. And I heard that was a really great show. They had the famous amateur wrestler Dan Housen, who was also at the show that I played. And, they had it looked like a pretty decent turnout. And it was a pretty decent turnout for our show as well. So the best way I'm going to describe, the best way to present all of this is just sort of like weighing out the good and the bad, and talk about the bands, and then talk about the actual, wrestling performance itself. So, I mean, so let's talk about the setup. This took place in the Beehive, and they had a ring that was bigger than the last one I saw, which was at Aces High when Starving Wolves came last. And that was that was all the way back in April, and it was a pretty small ring for a really tight space. But the Beehive is actually a bigger space, and they had to offset it, have this whole huge ring at an angle, because there are 4 support beams. If you've been in the venue, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But 4 beams in the middle of the dance floor. So, and being that the ring was so huge, they had to put the corners in between the beams, so it was shaped like it was a diamond. When you look at it from the stage. But anyway, my band Anonymous was the first to take the stage, and after the wrestlers did introductions and had their little first round of all the just slamming it down in the ring, which is always a lot of fun, just watching people just slam right onto that floor and just fake act like they're hurt. Though sometimes I think they actually did get hurt. Is that real blood, or is that actual, or is that fake blood? There was one time one wrestler got a pail put on his head, and then the other wrestler puts him in the corner, and he's got his arms resting on the ring, and he's looking all limp and shit, and then he's like, "Okay, I'm coming for you," and then boom, he just comes in and just like drop kicks his head right in the what I assume is the face. That got him all like pretty woozy. He had to be carried off of the ring. I go, is this? Are you sure that this is amateur wrestling? Because it looks like you're really putting yourself in serious harm's way. uh, yeah, but there's more to come off of that. There's more to come from that. But let's talk about the bands first. My band, Anonymous, we were the first. We were the first to get up there, and yeah, it was a bit of a rough start because my guitarist Josh, he was late, and a good. I was kind of responsible for that because I had left my house with all the gear and realized that when I got there, I had forgotten all the fucking merch, all of our shirts and our stickers and our patches and buttons. I was like, fuck, I need that merch. I'm all the way downtown and I live in Sandy. Do I go all the way back there to get it? I was hoping to eat dinner first. But then I realized Josh, he was at his house. He was at his house in West Jordan getting ready. So I call him up, ask him to get the merch. He said he could do it. But that was like making him cutting it really fucking close. And he didn't have his guitar. And we had his amp up on stage. We didn't set it up because we didn't think we had the cables. We thought he had the cables. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just get it, just do a sound check right before we play. And he was not too happy when he showed up. He's like, "What the fuck, guys? I thought you plugged my amp in." I said, "You have the cables." "No, you guys have the cables." Jesus. So yeah, in all honesty, we could have just set up his amp and had like Tara do a sound check on there, and would have saved some time in setup. So he was understandably pissed, and we were just sitting there. It's like, we're all ready to go, and Josh is still setting up. I'm like, well, hey guys, let's give a shout out to the Lucha Project. It was kind of, I was trying to do some damage control. So yeah, it was a stupid thing. I mean, Josh was, yeah. Yeah, he was pissed, and I was like, "Well, thank you for getting the merch," and it was worth it anyway because, we sold a lot of merch that night. We sold a good chunk, made a pretty penny. I was happy. I was satisfied about that. So, in the end, it was worth it. In the end, it was worth it. And then when everything does get set up, we play the show, and we played, I assume, pretty well. I mean, the crowd was very responsive, and and I really got to hand it to my bandmates, especially Bryce. He is not mic'd up at all, and I'm going to have to change that because he needs a mic. Because he was getting right in the crowd's face. I mean, there's no barricade. And he's like, "Come on, motherfuckers, let's move." Without a mic, Granted, the music wasn't going, but people were able to hear him. But I'm thinking, okay, no, we need to mic this guy up. So that's something that's something that's going to happen in the future. When we're done playing live shows for a minute, we'll be taking the month of February to focus on ourselves. Our next show is not after this weekend, we won't be playing a show until March, like mid-March. So that's going to be a fun time. Anyway, moving on to the set. Yeah, we played very well. We had a lot of fun. The only thing that really sucked was I could not hear myself. There was no playback coming from the mic, and I kept telling the sound guy, I kept telling Andrew, like, "Dude, I can't hear me. I need to know what I sound like," but nothing was happening. I go, okay, just hope I don't blow out my voice. So I don't know. I could have sounded really good. I could have sounded like shit. And apparently, some members of the audience couldn't even hear me. Like my girlfriend, she was on stage right, and she said that she couldn't hear me. Whereas some friends of mine, like the guys in DTA, they were watching me all the way from the back, and they said that they could. They said that they could. I'm thinking, okay, well, I think they need to get an actual sound guy. So yeah, that was kind of dumb. There were problems with the sound. That wasn't the only problem with the sound. It was something that kept happening throughout the in different aspects, but whatever. Anonymous, we played a pretty good set, and people were very like uh I don't know what the word is, but they were very like complimentary to us. They said they were telling us how much they loved our sound and how much they, how much that we really started off the show to a good got it to a good start, what have you. It was nice. We got a lot of positive feedback, which was great, especially considering the circumstances. And one thing that also happened is I have this hat, and it's fashioned to look like it's made out of pieces of a beer box, a PBR beer box, like one of those cases. And it was something that migrated from Ace's High Saloon by way of my friend Zach back to my house, and he would always wear it. And anytime we were like throwing a party or drinking, or if there was a show going on, and I remember wearing it during one of Apathetic's set on one of the first shows that we ever played here. It was such a fun time. So yeah, that was my. So yeah, it was the Randy Savage hat, because every time we put that hat on, oh god, and even in Aces, anytime someone had that hat, they were donning their best Macho Man impersonation. And when that hat came back into my possession just this weekend, I thought, okay, I need to wear this because we're doing a wrestling show. Makes sense to dress up like Randy Savage. The only thing I didn't have were the Pit Vipers, and I even brought attention to that on stage. I even said, I said it like this. Now, while I was eating up some time while Josh was setting up and just trying to entertain the audience, people were one smart ass in the audience asked, "Well, what's your favorite color?" I go, "Well, let me tell you what my favorite color is. It is red, white, and blue, because that is the colors of Pabst Blue Ribbon." I pull out the hat and then I put it on, and then I do my best Randy Savage. I'm like, "Oh yeah, welcome to this show that is put on by none other than your very own The Lucha Project." And just going off on that. Then I mentioned that it's my best Macho Man, despite the fact that I don't have any Pit Vipers. But then one of the guys who was one of the guys who handles all the Luchador shows, the Lucha Project shows, he comes up, gives me a Pit Vipers still in their case, and I go, "Oh shit! Look what this guy brought me. He brought me some fucking Pit Vipers, brand new Pit Vipers," and I just put them on the stage. I go, "Oh, now I'm in my element." It was a great time. It was totally awesome. Awesome of him to do that. And I went to go after our set, I went to go give it back to him. He's like, "No, no, no, no. I'm giving them to you. You keep it. Those are awesome." I'm like, "Really? Are you sure? Are you sure?" "Well, thank you, man." I mean, it was like, "Thanks for putting on a good set." "Oh, well, thank you." It was awesome. So yeah, despite some of the setbacks, we did do a good set. We were having fun. The next band that was playing was Mega Ritual, who is this kind of doomy, semi-psych rock heavy band that are they're pretty interesting. Like their music, I really like, but that's the thing. I don't like seeing it live. And that's not to dog on their performance. They performed it very well, but it's just super chill. It's stuff that I want to listen to at home. It's stuff that I would put on to just sort of relax to. But seeing it live, there's not a lot going on there. It's good music. It's just not very exciting to me. It's sort of like watching jam bands. After a while, it's like, okay, can we get to the point? But their music was good. They sounded great. It sounded better than we were on stage. So I guess the EQ worked in their favor. Um, so yeah, Mega Ritual, they are good. I would definitely check them out. Go ahead and give them a listen if you're into like doomy, psych metal type shit. They're fun. Yeah, they are fun. And then, of course, my friends, my dear friends, and Don't Trust Anybody, DT motherfucking A. Man, I am so happy that Anonymous finally got to play a set with them, because Anonymous never did. Apathetics played, we played together 3 or 4 times. I think the last time we played together was that birthday party, or that birthday show that I put together in February of 2023. It was for a friend of mine. Yeah, it was us, Apathetics, DTA, Goat Sifter, and Phil Fords. That was a great show. That was a lot of fun. But anyway, moving on, moving on. That was, I think that was the last time that I personally played a set with DTA. So this is the first time that Anonymous did, and DTA, oh man, they just fucking kill it. They killed it. They've been a band since 1997, 1998, and they just absolutely have, they feel like they are just as fresh as they were when they first started. 5 years, and counting. Even longer than that, almost 30 years. Yeah, almost 30. So, and their music still sounds so, hyper and just urgent and just in your face. It makes you excited for punk. It makes you excited for hardcore. It's great that they still hold that old school sound. I love it. And when I say old school, I mean like early like New York hardcore. You think of it all, Cause for Alarm, Warzone, Youth of Today, even Gorilla Biscuits in some way, just not as melodic. That like late 80s Youth Crew stuff. It's even kind of Youth Crew, but they're not straight edge. Well, I mean, their bassist is, but the rest of them aren't. I know their names. I just can't remember I just can't remember which one is Chet, which one is Austin. I know who Greg is. Greg is their singer. Yeah. But I remember getting into just like getting all the way up front on stage, watching them play, and then they play one of my favorite songs, You Fucked Up. And of course, I'm singing that, and Greg is just sticking the mic right in my face. He's like holding the whole mic stand out, just as if it's like a fishing pool. Fishing for interaction, fishing for crowd interaction, or crowd participation. And I'm just grabbing the mic, You fucked up! You fucked up! You suck! It was so fun. I love it when they play that song. They do it as kind of a joke, really. Anyway, it's great. And now for the touring band, Never Endeavor, from Grand Junction, Colorado. Oh my God, Never Endeavor is phenomenal. They are such great musicians. They are like they're very like a metalcore, sort of mathcore band on the same caliber of Converge, and also Between the Buried and Me, like early Between the Buried and Me, and even their tone and the way that the vocalist sounds, he sounds very close to the singer of Atreyu. Like his tone and his pitch and just his overall growls are very similar to that. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. I know it's Alex something. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking about Atreyu. I'm talking about Never Endeavor. And they are like super precise. They were doing an awesome show. Like, really technically precise. The guitarist, he was just jamming on some 7-string guitar, hitting all these like really crazy technical scales. All this, I go on with music theory jargon. It doesn't matter. The point is they were like, you could tell these guys knew what the fuck they were doing. And their singer, he was also managing all the samples. He would just like he'd have his laptop on stage, which was cleverly hidden behind one of the beams that separated the stage. But, again, another support beam. And and he was hitting the samples, and it's like there's a moment of silence in one part of their song, and it says something, and then the breakdown hits. You know how it goes. Like, ding, 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 ding. It's great, acting as a sort of mosh call out. But yeah, they were just super, super awesome. Just to watch them perform with all the energy they had and just moving side to side from the stage. And the bassist, he even got down into the pit with everybody. Well, there wasn't much of a pit. There were very few people left, but he went down on the ground, on the floor of general admission, walked all the way around the wrestling ring that was still there, and was just like playing to all the bystanders, just like, "What's up, bitch? Yo, how's it going?" It was funny. It was a lot of fun to see. And just their sound fucking kicks ass. And I checked out their EP afterwards. The what the fuck do you call it? I just listened to it today. Even it's got a cat on the front. I mean, that's already funny enough. Metalcore band with a EP that has a cat, or no, not a cat, a kid. Just like a yearbook photo of some little girl. There it is. The Magic Eyes EP. The Magic Eyes. Yeah, they got a lot of and songs like Innocence Part 2. That's the first song, and then Asylum Part 2 later on. Oh yeah, one of the songs is called Cat Birthday. It's fun. They're fun. Goofy titles. I love that bands still do that. But they were a great band. And I talked with him a little bit, like, so Grand Junction, what's it like down there? Like, what's the scene? He says, we basically played everywhere that can be played. Our scene is so fucking small down there. I'm like, well, damn. I'm happy that you came up this way and had a fucking real show, it sounds like. And he was telling me they even got to the point where they played a high school, and the kids there, they got so fucking violent. They desecrated a lot of the place. I go, ooh, shit. So the crowds down there are pretty rambunctious. Well, yeah, there's not a lot of stuff going on, so they got to do something. Fair enough. Well, yeah, but Never Endeavor, great set from those guys. And now that about covers it for all the bands. As for the wrestling, the wrestling was a lot of fun, but the thing that sucked is they didn't have like a good setup with their sound. Like some of the wrestlers, they would come on with their stage walking music, and then it would just cut off like so abruptly. I go, no, you need to have that shit fade out. That's how they do it in WWE. I don't watch a lot of it, but I know how it's supposed to work. It's just kind of standard. You don't have it cut off completely. Anyway, and then there was supposed to be some like some in-between music, like some mood music that was supposed to be going on while the announcer was, doing her thing, like announcing all the shows and just all the wrestlers and all the characters and, building everything up, getting the audience all hyped up. Yeah, you didn't really have much of that. And even then, the mic was cutting out a few times. Was cutting out on her, and she just had to like do it unplugged. So it did kind of suck on that end. It was a little disjointed in that regard. But once the wrestling started going, it was fucking going, and there were some brutal things going on. There was, oh man, there were doors, of course. There were doors, and there were chairs, and tables. The classic wrestling setup, people getting slammed and breaking that shit in half, or having them getting broken over their heads. But then there were light bulbs. The one wrestler was just banging his head on, like he'll hold the. There were like fluorescent bulbs, those long fluorescent bulbs, those tubes, and he would hold it up to his opponent's head, like on the forehead, and then he would headbutt them, and then the bulb would just shatter into a million pieces. Yeah. And this is in the ring, and this is also on the floor where all the patrons are standing, where the audience is. Then they had like so you're watching this wrestling, and you're watching them break in light bulbs, and next thing you know, shards of glass are flying everywhere. It's like, cover your eyes. It was pretty fucked. It was pretty insane. Then they had like a whole sheet of glass on that they set up. One of the wrestlers who is, quote unquote defeated, he's just limp in one of the corners of the ring, and then they bring in this huge sheet of glass, like about a 5x10, and then they set it up right above him, like they place it at an angle, and then one of the wrestlers, he just comes back into the opposite corner, and then he just launches himself and front flips into the glass, and the fucking thing shatters into a million pieces. I'm like, you better make sure that was cleared. You better make sure you were cleared from that whole area, because, oh boy, you'd have been fucked. You'd have been cut open. Thankfully, there were no injuries to the audience members. To the participants, however, well, yeah, you get what you signed up for this. But wrestling, it is a lot of fun. These guys really bring it. They're fun to watch, even though it was a little disjointed in the technical aspects of everything. When they actually got to the wrestling, that was some shit that we all wanted to see. We all wanted to see that. So yeah, that was my show. That was the show that I played. It was awesome to be part of one of the Lucha Project shows. And yeah, a few things, we had some fucking hiccups. We had some things that we couldn't recover from, but we managed. And, on both sides. But that's just kind of the thing that happens when you are in, when you're in the field of practice that we are. Yeah, underground shows. Yeah, I've played a ton of them to not expect everything to go exactly as you plan. That's just kind of how it is. So, yeah, now I told you about a show that happened. Let's talk about some of the shows that are going to be happening. There's some good shit coming up in the next few days, starting with this weekend on the 17th. We have Twist Off, Xeno, Circle 7, Mortis, and Carrier all playing at Black Lung Society. That's gonna be it's gonna be up at Black Lung starting at 7 p.m. $12 to enter. There you go. Also going on is also up in Ogden is a show that I'm playing, Party with a Purpose, which is a benefit show for the Alzheimer's Association. That is a show that was put together by the guys in Hi-Fi Murder. Also participating is MPNK, Captain Daniels and the Sunnybrook Sailors, and yours truly. Yep, 2 shows in one day. No, 2 shows in 2 weeks. What am I saying? However, Tara, she's going to be playing... goddamn. Tara, my guitarist, is going to be up to her ears in performances because her 2 other bands will be playing a show literally the night before. So, yeah, and that's going to be this one at Kamikazes with Secret Souls and Molotovin and Cuervita. That is going to be a hell of a time for her. Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a time for her, but that's going to be on the 16th. That's on Friday. So she has that, and then she has to come back up to Ogden to play another set with her other band. But she's a trooper that way. Anyway, like I said, Kamikazes, it's $10 to enter. Remember, it's for the Alzheimer's Association, and it starts at 6 p.m. And then, meanwhile, down in Salt Lake, Prickaganda is celebrating its 2nd anniversary. Prickaganda, that's a podcast, and it's sort of it's become a bit of a promotions company, a whole enterprise of, spotlighting bands and putting on shows and just being a mogul. It's just being a basically underground punk rock, metal, hardcore mogul for Salt Lake, and it's awesome what he's doing, and been doing it out of Salt Lake for 2 years, and he tells me it's just getting bigger. It's just getting bigger. Ugh. He's got some big plans in store for Prickaganda Summerfest this year. He hasn't told me any of the details. I told him not to tell me because I want to be surprised, but I will be playing it. But anyway, for the second anniversary show, he's got Wicked Temple, Yalta Miklan, Become the Void, Cargo Cult, Morbid Tabernacle Fire, and Chronic Trigger. I'm really pissed that I can't be at that show because I love those guys on there. But win some, lose some, duty calls. I gotta be elsewhere that night, playing to another batch of jackasses. Anyway, that's gonna be at Aces High. It's a $15 show, starts at 6 p.m. And then moving into the dates that begin with the number 2. On January 21st, the Pest Coast Tour is coming to Salt Lake with Inhuman Condition, Wretched, and Trash Panda. And Sacrilegion's going to be opening up for them. That's going to be at Aces High. $20 if you buy in advance, $22 at the door. Starts at 7 p.m. Then on the 22nd, it's Slug Localized. And that's going to be performing on that localized showcase is going to be me. Yeah, another show that I'll be playing, but not with Anonymous, with my other band, The Apathetics. We got our localized interview in this last issue of Slug Magazine. It was awesome to be a part of that. Anyway, yeah, if you haven't read the article, you can go find it on their website or pick up a copy or come to the show, Also playing will be Hangxiety, and it's also going to double as a comedy set via Punks and Punchlines. We've done plenty of Punks and Punchlines show for them. Punks and Punchlines sets, done those shows. They're a lot of fun. Comedians are usually pretty funny, just kind of depends on how good their material is and how good their delivery is. Anyway, that's going to be at Kilby Court. It's just a $5 show, and it starts at 7 p.m. The next day on the 23rd, oh boy, there's a lot of shit going on the 23rd. First, we have American Humor, Hi-Fi Murder, and High-Five Hero playing at Ice House. That's a $5 show, starts at 9 p.m. Then on the 23rd, Secret Souls, MPNK, Cargo Cult, and Willow will all be playing at Liquid Joe's. That is a $10 show, going to start at 7 p.m. Then, Way, Dragster Gas, Solitude, just those three, going to be playing at Aces High Saloon. That is $10, it's going to be starting at 7 p.m. Then, finally, on the 23rd, Jaws has put together a SLC Warp 25 compilation, featuring Salt Lake City's best. so yeah, a lot of Salt Lake bands, local bands, they submitted a couple of songs of theirs to be put into this compilation, and it is now officially coming out on the 23rd, and they're having this lovely, lovely showcase to celebrate. That is including Spent, No Such Animal, Venus Death Trap, Ambido, and Peter Chubak. You also gotta love how they designed this flyer. Made it look like it's a 1997 Warped Tour poster with all the logos and everything. It's fucking awesome. That's gonna be at Fellowship Hall. It's $15 if you want to buy the ticket and also get a copy of the CD, or it's just $10 for entry. That's gonna be starting at 6 p.m. Then on the 24th, we're gonna have the Council of Doom. Council of Doom. That's going to include Burial Site, Room, and Plumeria at the Black Lung Society. This is going to be a totally wretched heretic show. Council of Doom. Nice. Anyway, $10 if you pay cash, $12 if you're going through Venmo, and it starts at 7 p.m. And finally, we're closing out on the 25th. Treason, Hoodoo Mama, and Venus Death Trap playing at Aces High. That show is $10, and it starts at 7 p.m. And guys, that is the extent of what I can tell you for this week. Now, there's a lot of shit happening. The new year's picking up pretty strong. We're off to a pretty strong start with all these shows coming in. I mean, the holidays are over and everyone needs to make up for lost time. I get it. I get it. I'm playing 3 shows this month, 1 down, 2 to go. And yeah, I'm also going to be recording some new shit. Yeah, Apathetic's going to be recording new material. Side note. More on that later. And yeah, so that's all I got for this week. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me yammering on about shows that I attended or played, and me telling you all the ones that you should hit up. And I hope you managed to make it out to a few shows this week, at least one. And I hope you have a great time. I hope you stay safe and that you return unscathed. And if you don't, hopefully you have a cool story to go along with it. Once again, I'm Eric the Unit Norris of SLC Punkcast, Live and Wired, and Tales from the Pit, signing off. So I'll see you in the motherfucking pit. Dustin, take it away.
Thank you, Eric. And now we go around the world, but only in 3 flyers. I didn't have much time this week to get to adding more, so it's 3 that we had that are still coming up from last week. We got the Geeks coming in from Japan over to South Korea at Baby Doll Seoul. So that's where you want to go, babydoll_Seoul, to get more details. Show is at 6:30. Doors are at 6. Go check out our pals in 18 Fevers and Tish at this all-ages show with the Geeks. I don't know what that denomination is, but it's in the top right of that flyer, so go check it out. Shout out to our pal Matt. Next, an all-ages show at Black Lodge. It says CDA in CDA. I don't know. Coeur d'Alene, sorry. I think that's Coeur d'Alene. Anyway, you get to see Wicked Issue, Big Mosquito, CI, and Docs. So if you're in that area, go check it out. Go check out wicked.issue.oi. It's at Black Lodge, 7 p.m., a $10 show. And I'll wrap it up here with Angry Samoans doing a record release show with Battle Flask, by the way. That record on vinyl will be out on PAL Records, but probably not for a few months. But the digital will be out, and you'll be able to check out what it is you will be purchasing. We'll start doing pre-orders as it gets closer. Vintage War featuring Joey Briggs will be there as well. Trigger Damage, Slow Decay, loaded lineup at Mrs. Olson's in Oxnard, California. It's $15 in advance if you go to Eventbrite, and it's $20 at the door. I mean, do you save money by just even paying at the door with all the fees and shit they charge nowadays? I don't know. Anyway, go check out those shows. Send more. I will get more for next week. But until then, have yourself a great week. This is Live and Wired and Tales from the Pit. That was Eric. This is me. Catch you on the next one.